Hey, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, in this episode, I brought my oldest son, Joseph, and we're in the BMW. I'm on a strategic week, and I thought what we do today is just answer some questions. Every week I get questions either via LinkedIn, or they're tweeted to me, or they're just emailed to me. And what I thought we'd do as we drive around here in Melbourne, Florida, is just answer some questions. So, Joe, why don't you give me the first question? Let's get after it.
Jenny asks, what are the most successful clients appreciation events so far this year?
All right, so Jenny's asking about client events, client appreciation events. So I think there's a couple things. I think there's three types of events. I think there's a pure appreciation fun event. I think there's pure educational events, and I think there's a combination of the two. So the first comment I'm going to make to Jenny is that every advisor needs to have live and virtual events. You want to educate your clients. An educated client is a better client. They make better decisions, so we want to encourage that, right, going forward. So let's just talk about fun events first. So fun events could be as simple as a wine tasting, or a private chef, or a sporting event, an off-Broadway play, river cruise, dinner cruise, things like that. I've had people do pig roasts in the summer, like go get the guy with the pig, dig the hole. I've had people do food trucks, watch parties. So like if you're a big sports fan and your team is on the road, host a watch party in your parking lot, bring a couple of food trucks. Very, very cool to do. So there's just a lot of things you could do. Several of my clients will do a single ladies Valentine's Day like luncheon for all their single women clients. So I just think there's a lot of different ways to put some fun events, sponsor golf outings, things like that. Just let your imagination really kind of work with you on these things. The one thing I would say, just as a real belief I have, is I would definitely stay away from like political things or religious things. You just don't know. You may not have 100% read on your client, so let's not go down that road. So on the fun events, I think there's a lot of things you can do there. Educational events, I love the idea of every year, like in January, hosting a Welcome to the New Year event. Think of it like health and wealth. You would, in essence, create a faculty. Maybe you would speak about financial planning or things like that. Maybe you'd bring a CPA or one of your tax partners in to talk about tax law changes, estate planning attorney to come and talk about any changes there. Local realtor to talk about property trends. Local chiropractor or health professional to do health, travel agent to do like the up and coming cruise ships or destinations or locations, and that's really good to do in January because what it does is it gets you off to a great start. For the year. So I like that. And then your typical educational things, whether you teach or you bring other experts in. If you do bring other experts in, I would definitely encourage you to give them a table and say, look, I'm going to give you a table. I'd like you to invite some of your clients. So we want to do that. And then the hybrid event is when you do both. You have some fun, maybe do a little teaching, a little education around it, so on. So I think all three of those. The key thing when you do any type of event, number one, you invite everybody. So don't sit there and make decisions for people. Oh, this person doesn't live close by or they won't come. Remember, the decision itself carries value, so you never want to forget that. The second thing, you always want to encourage guests. Bring a guest. So I like the idea of tickets, of physical tickets, and sending them out, like 2 sets of tickets. You can go anywhere online, like ticketprinting.com and stuff like that, get them really inexpensive. And then the third thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have your most wanted. So whether they're centers of influence or prospects or people you're kind of trying to get them to say yes to you, just remember, anytime you can have clients and guests in the same room at the same time, it's good for your business. So I hope that gives you some answers, and let's go on to the next one.
John asks, explain the difference between tactical and strategic time.
All right, so John wants to know about tactical and strategic time. So John, so a couple things. So number one, there's actually a third element of time called renewal time. So let's go over tactical time, strategic time, and renewal time, the three modalities advisors have in the way that I put things together for people. So tactical time, everybody kind of knows. That's getting up in the morning, going in your office, doing reviews, dealing with clients, dealing with business development, really in the pure sense working in the business, right? We're not doing any strategic projects. You're not trying to work on things. You're doing your client contacts, you're setting your reviews, you're executing your reviews, you're taking care of your clients. It's a very tactical game. All right. Now, strategic time is the exact opposite, where you're working on things, you're working on yourself, and you're working on your business. So that's where we would look at doing like strategic planning. We would look at updating our website, branding, CE credits, segmentation projects, anything to make the business better and make you better. That's what we want to do. So strategic time. Now, a couple caveats on strategic time. Number one, rarely should it be done in the office. I've had clients try to do it, and if you're in your tactical environment, which is i.e. the office, chances are you're going to go tactical. You're going to have the red light blinking on your phone, and email popping in, and maybe colleagues and things like that. So it's just easier not to have to go deal with that. So strategic time, find a local happy place. Library, maybe a club, maybe your home office that you can really control the environment. That works best in my mind going forward. So strategic time, again, is working on things, not in things. So remember, so in and on, right? Tactical in, strategic on. Now, the third type of time is renewal time. This is when you want to be gone from the business. So in, on, and gone, right? So being gone from the business, this is renewal time, vacays, just kind of catch-up days, kind of catch your breath days. You don't have to travel, but you're not in the business. And what you really need to do as an advisor is integrate all three of those. So it's not about balancing. So the model we like to see is, at least in a 7-day window, in a several-day window, I want you to be all tactical, right? So just like crush the in stuff, do your reviews, execute your game plan, things like that. And then, take some strategic time out of the office, work on your projects, move it along, and then make sure on a regular basis you get your renewal time. I think every advisor needs at least 8 to 12 renewal weeks a year. I think you need at least 12 strategic weeks a year, and then the rest of it is tactical, and that's more than enough time to do those things if you're working with a strategic calendar. And that's what most advisors don't have. They don't have that strategic calendar. They're just kind of going at it, right? Work hard, go at it with no game plan, no flow to it. And we just want to stay away from that. So I hope that gives them some guidance. Hopefully that helps them. What's our third question for today's episode?
Ken asks, what are some trends that you were seeing in the industry?
Oh, so of course a simple question, right? Trends. So I mean, there's so many different ways to answer this question. So I'll just kind of put some different pieces around it, if you will. Obviously, the first trend we have, there's really two trends. Neither one of them are good. Trend number one, as an industry, we're aging, and as an industry, we're not attracting young people, not to the level that we ultimately need. So that becomes very problematic from that perspective. The other thing is obviously technology is having a massive impact on what we're doing and how we're doing it and so on. So if you're an advisor, there's two things. Number one, you better go ahead and learn the technology game yourself at whatever level that's possible. And then the second thing is your staff better be technologically proficient. So you can't be hiring assistants and so on where they don't get it. I mean, they just it's going to become more, not less, on the technology side. A couple other trends. Obviously, there's a lot of discussion in the industry right now about fee and fee compression. We see some of the major discounters getting trades down to zero. So I think there's going to be what I call the haves and have-nots. And here's what I mean. If you're a money manager and your game is just running money, right? That, in my mind, in my experiences, I really believe is going to get commoditized even further. I think that if you're going to go into the other side, which is be more relational and more planning oriented, right? More financial coaching. I think financial coaching and bringing a coaching component into the model is really the future of our industry. Because I think in that regard, in that scenario, I think you can not only retain margins, but I think you can charge higher fees because the value proposition is going to be so much different going forward. I just think that's going to be the thing. The other piece, and I think this also depends on where you're located. If you're in an area that a certain percentage of your client base is going to retire and move, if that's your marketplace, you better have a remote practice model where, whether they're in Michigan or Florida or Massachusetts or Arizona, you can go ahead and take care of things. Like, there's no differential there in the availability and the ability to work with people. I think that's going to be incredibly important going forward. And I think the last thing is, I think, again, getting to kind of the generalist versus the specifics, I think it's okay to be a generalist as an advisor, kind of work with everybody, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that, so on. But if you want, like real margin and be able to really create an incredible value proposition, I think one of the other things you've got to look at is, is there a niche that I want to serve? Do I have a niche in my business already? And if I do, I do. If I don't, I'm not saying everybody has to go create one. But if you have something that's kind of in front of you, you may want to go take a look at and deploy that. So I just think, there's that. I think that you'll see a lot more advisors creating more lifestyle type practices, boutique practices. We see it with the XPYN movement, for example. Really kind of a fee scenario. And I think that will continue. I think the major firms are going to have a challenge over time with their value propositions, just because it's just such an inefficient model with so much overhead. I just don't know how that continues. So hopefully that gives you some answers on some global trends that I see. And thanks for the question. So we've answered our 3 questions for this episode. So a couple of things real quick. And the one thing about driving around is you're going to have a lot of trucks, right? So here we have some right now. Ask me, hey, reach out, ask me a question. I'm here for everybody. And don't forget, make sure you hook up on your 30-day Magellan Network trial, MagellanNetwork.net, right? Let me come work with you for 30 days. Come get some powerful associations and an entirely different game that you've never experienced before. So come do that. Thanks for sending in the questions. I'll see you all in our next Magellan Network episode.
So there you have it. If you really enjoyed watching this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the Magellan Network Show with Coach Joe here on YouTube. And remember, I'm always here to help you become a better entrepreneur, business owner, and financial advisor. With that, I'll see you next time on the Magellan Network Show with me, Coach Joe. Take care and goodbye.